Good morning, good afternoon. We are back with another video. Today we are going to be something that I like to call a HueForge ride-along. If you don't know what HueForge is, I will be coming out with a video very shortly explaining what HueForge is, why it is so incredible, and how you can leverage it for your 3D printing business. But in short, HueForge is a program that will take your 2D image and convert it into a 3D file. Now, this isn't like a 3D figure. This is more of like a 3D printable poster. And today I am going to be showing you how I process through creating a HueForge. And if you want to give it a shot, I will leave a link to HueForge along with my Patreon and Maker World down in the description below so that you can give it a shot for yourself. So let's hop over into the program. So we are in HueForge, and as you can see, it looks kind of weird. Now, mine is going to look a little bit different than yours does, but what you want to make sure you have is your right filaments here. I use all Bamboo Lab filaments, and so everything is kind of loaded up here. I also put my camera down in the bottom right corner because our image that we're going to be editing is going to be on the right side, and I figure we don't need to look at that all that much. So today we are going to be doing Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, and then we are going to be doing Simba from The Lion King. And so I'm very excited for both of these. These should both be pretty simple images to edit here in HueForge, and hopefully learn something from today's video. So we're gonna go ahead and drag in the Stitch. Now, I love the Stitch image. You can see over on the right, it's a pretty simple image, monochrome. It's got some whites, it's got some grays, it's got some blacks, and then of course we have the color that pops out, which is our blue. Now, the first thing that I like to do is drag in the colors that I need. And so I'm going to grab cyan because I think cyan is going to be the color that I want to use to replicate this blue here. And we are in standard mode. Now, standard mode is awesome, but we don't want to be in standard mode. We want to be in ColourPop mode. Now, from here, it's pretty simple. We drag the color that we want on top to be up top. So we're going to drag our blue up there. We are going to bring our gray down just a little bit. Now, one interesting thing about ColourPop is that you're essentially creating two HueForges. So you need to divide your HueForges where you want the color to pop. And so this little slider here is going to kind of distinguish or tell HueForge where you want the divide to be. And so we're going to drag it up into the blue area. And I think this will work pretty well here. You can see that we don't have any blue popping out, and that's because our tolerance is way too high. This is going to be how much of the color that you're going to allow through on that top HueForge. So we're going to drag it down just a little bit. And we got it pretty good here. We're gonna go to spike removal, toss in fast to kind of get that going there. I think I'm gonna bring smoothing up just a tad here. There we go. And one last thing that I want to change is just static depth, though, that we don't edit how many layers we got working here. Okay, so I actually kind of like this image here, the way it looks. I want to bring up the blacks just a tad bit more. And I think I want to bring out the whites a little bit more too. So we're gonna play around with this brightness slider over here, and I'm just gonna bring it up ever so slightly. And see where we get here. Okay. And you can see if we bring this up too far, we get blue where the white is at, and we definitely don't want that. Okay, I am honestly pretty happy with this HueForge. I have no further edits for this one. I actually want to call this one finished. This one was really easy. You can ColourPop is honestly one of the kind of settings in HueForge that I know a lot of people stay away from. And if you have the right image, which we will do tutorials on how to source your images later, but if you have the right image, ColourPop is pretty easy. And so Stitch is done. Okay, let's go ahead and do Simba. Now, I love this image a lot. One of the difficult things about this image is that it's got kind of like a brush stroke feel here, which is really hard for HueForge to figure out because it's trying to replicate like a brush or a pen, and the spikes that it creates can be a little complicated. And so first things first is we want to grab our yellow, and this almost replicates the yellow perfectly. And I want to bring up our blacks a tad. We're probably looking, yeah, something like that. And then I'm gonna bring out the brightness just a little bit, 0.05, make sure that our mesh here is looking good. Now you can kind of tell that we have some details over here on the right on this image, right over here. See these details here that we are not really getting here on this image. Now we can play around with tolerances a little bit and see if we are able to more accurately replicate it. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't love the way that looks. It's going to be kind of a pain for a 3D printer to be able to do this consistently, just because it's kind of all over the place. And so I think I'm going to bring it down and just kind of let the computer play around and fill in those gaps for us. And I'm going to, I'll keep it on fast. Spike removal is going to help with the spikes that you can kind of get in these areas of the HueForge that may give you some problems. And so this is our Simba. Again, this one was so easy for us to make. You guys watched me. I didn't really edit this video all that much. Everything was done in real time. I edited both of those HueForges in less than 10 minutes. And so those two are pretty simple. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode. Hopefully you learned just a little bit about ColourPop and HueForge and how simple it can be. This month is Disney. I'm so excited to be doing Disney characters this month. If you want Stitch and Simba and Goofy and Minnie and Mickey and all of the Disney cast, check out my Maker World. You can 3D print these files today as when this video goes live. Check them out. I'm so excited to see y'all's prints. And if you guys create some awesome ColourPop prints, let me know down in the comments below. We got all of our communities. We got our Discord, our Patreon. If you want to sell these prints, we got all sorts of stuff. Just go look at it. Okay? Just go look at it. Thank you guys for being here. We will catch you guys in the next one. Until next time, y'all take care and God bless.